Hey everybody, my name is Michael. I'm the owner of Lost Royalty, and this is the Lost Royalty Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about surviving divorce. It has been a long road, and by all means, I am not a professional anything. I am a man with an experience who's willing to share it. That's pretty much it. It has been 6 months since she told me that she wanted to split, and it has been the best and worst 6 months of my life. Yeah, we just hopping on in, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I was devastated, like anyone would be. We were together for coming up here 20 years. So and looking back at it, it was not it felt like it came out of nowhere, but it obviously it didn't. Obviously, like looking back at it, no, it did not come out of nowhere. I won't mention like too many details because it's private, and I don't want to paint her in a bad light. And there are things that I have to take accountability for, and I think that just going forward and just putting all this in video form is very therapeutic for me. But I also have to watch what I say, and I'll also have to watch how I come across as well. I'm not bitter. I am still angry at some things, so there's a lot that I still have to process. I mean, it's been 6 months, so there's still things that I'm processing. There's still things that trigger me. There are still things that, like I said, I just have to work through. But I feel at this point I have an experience that I need to share with maybe some men that are going through the same thing, where you feel like it was just out of nowhere, where you feel like it was just so sudden, and you were trying to rectify everything, and she's just not susceptible to it. I think as men, we need to really come to a point where we have to accept our own flaws. We have to accept our own responsibilities, and we have to take accountability for the things that we've done in a relationship that causes it to end. I am a chronic overthinker, and the main trait with overthinkers is control. I see now through reflection and introspection that I was trying to control my marriage, and in turn trying to control her. I wanted what I wanted, and it wasn't coming from a leading standpoint. There's a very thin line, and like in later episodes we'll definitely go over the thin line that separates leadership from control. But yeah, I was definitely on the control side. I didn't know how to lead effectively. I didn't know how to put those tools that I was trying to learn into motion. I was very, in hindsight, manipulative. And like while I was doing it, I really just thought, like genuinely, I thought I was doing what was best for my family, all the while just pushing her away and pushing her away and pushing her away. Throughout the 20 years, man, we've been through a lot. We've been through some good times, bad times, financials, ups and downs, and it's like there's a lot that played a part in our divorce. But I think at this point, let's just talk about the actual split and those feelings that you go through. First one is anger. Immediately, right off the bat, I felt angry. I felt like my entire world was being ripped apart, and I literally, like, it felt like I was standing on train tracks and I saw the train coming and I could not move. And I just had to take the full force of a bullet train. That was my feeling at that time. It's just, and I'm feeling emotional coming up, you know, just with all the thoughts that's coming in my mind. I felt like, oh man, you ever feel like you hold on to something and there's tension, like a bow and arrow? When you hold on it back, and the further back you pull it, the more the thing that you're holding on to just wants to shoot away. That's exactly how it felt trying to get her back. And it was such a, it was just a bad experience. It brought stuff out of me that I didn't know I even had inside me. I felt new emotions that I've never felt before. Like, anger was not an emotion that I felt regularly. And like, it was rage as well. Like, it was angry rage. I've never in my life felt rage. That is a feeling that is, I mean, almost indescribable. So, I mean, if you feel rage on a regular, man, I'm gonna pray for you, because that's not something I ever want to feel again. But yeah, I went through all the steps. Like, you hear about, you know, begging, pleading, bargaining, the fake acceptance, and then there's real acceptance. And I had to grieve my marriage in such a short time, and I'm still grieving it. I'm still working on, you know, trying to figure out how to move forward, how to deal with this new normal, deal with an empty house and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, when it first happened, it was, like I say, I felt rage, I felt anger, and the only thing that I could do was call my mom. Mom's always gonna be there for you. If your mom is passed on, I mean, I feel my condolences, but man, she was such a rock in being, you know, that shoulder I could literally cry on. And the emotions that I was feeling, they ebbed and flowed. One day I was cool, one day I was fine. The others, it would just, man, it affected my work. It affected my ability to just think. Because at some point, it's hard to let go. And when you have those talks with people that say, hey, just let go, just let her go, just let her go. Man, ain't nobody trying to hear that when they're in that much pain. And nobody tells you this. Like, if you're going through this right now, hey, I completely understand your pain, and telling somebody to just completely let them go, that's irrational. I would never, ever, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't ever say that. I would start by saying, hey, eventually you're gonna have to let her go. I understand that you're going through this pain right now, and you're gonna have to feel your feelings. You're going to have to feel those feelings, but at this point in time, there's literally nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it but feel those feelings and get through them. Go to the gym, do that kind of stuff. But as far as letting that person go at that particular time, it's impossible. It's just not gonna happen. Your mind frame is not set up to just let somebody go that you love. It just doesn't work like that. And I really, really wish that more people would really understand and study, like, themselves, study their feelings, study their emotions, and be just a little bit emotionally mature about things that happen when you're trying to help. I understand, like, sometimes you put on the spot and all you can just be like, hey, just let that bitch go. It's not gonna happen. But but no, that feeling of trying to let somebody go and not wanting to fully let them go is so real that you just can't do it all at once. You can't just take that advice and just go with it. At some point, you're going to have to come to a realization. And that's what I had to do. I came to a realization that this woman is not for me. This woman wants to leave me. And this woman is so far gone that she's not even the person that you have in your mind. And that's the reality I had to deal with. I had to separate the physical person that was standing in front of me from the person that I had built up in my mind. And that is so hard to do. That is so hard to do. I thank God so much because my prayers and my obedience got me out of the situation to where I was begging, trying to bargain, trying to create little secret covert contracts with her. And really my prayer and the people who prayed for me got me through that. I really think that when you pray, you're not only praying to God, you're praying to the spirit that's inside of you. And the spirit that's inside of you is the one link that you have to God. And you have to feed that spirit so your link can get stronger with the Creator. I truly believe that once you pray it out, once you are able to get past that rage, that anger, that sadness, you can literally do anything. The first thing that I did, I was sitting in my bed one morning and I told myself, you need a haircut. Out of the 20 years, now I'm gonna tell y'all, like, I was not the best husband. I was not, I didn't really take care of myself the way that most men take care of themselves. We got married. I'm 40 right now, so we got married really, really young. We were 20 and 21 when we got married, and it was. I thought I had everything figured out. I thought that my intentions alone to, just be a good father, be a good husband, and just coast off of that would carry me throughout my marriage, and it carried us pretty far. I mean, it wasn't a terrible marriage. It really, really wasn't until like towards the end where she grew up and I didn't. There was a point in time where she had to, and I don't think she'll ever admit this, but I truly do believe that she had to, get a job and take care of everything, because I had a business and my business failed and it sent me spiraling into a depression. And if anybody knows anything about depression, it's a self-defeating thing. It changes your perception. It changes your paradigm on a massive level to where you cannot get out of bed. You can't do anything because you're so afraid. My problem was I was afraid of failure. I didn't want to fail again. And it was so bad that I had gotten fat. Thank God that I was able to lose all the weight that I gained. I'm still losing weight. I'm at 185 right now. I want to lose 10 more pounds, but yeah, that's besides the point. But I'm so glad I got up to 213 and I was fat. I felt fat. I couldn't breathe. I was snoring all the time. It was just a bad situation all the way around. So I say all that to say, fellas, take care of yourself. Take pride in how you look. Take pride in how you dress. Take pride in your upkeep. Brush your teeth, wash your face, shower every day. At a point, I was not showering. And that's how bad the depression was. At the point, I was just not showering and I was looking for affection. I was looking for love. Man. I'm really exposing myself on this first episode, but I got to get it out of there. I have to tell you guys my experience so y'all know where I'm coming from. No, man, it was to a point where, I would expect her to do wifely things and I'm just a blob Like in my mind, I'm just a blob. And I still expected her to be a wife. How stupid does that sound right now? And I'm not trying to like be self-defeating, but like in my mind and in my reflection, it's just like, man, bro, what is up with you? And part of me, because I'm going through this like live, this is live. So, but yeah, man, I'm sorry for being all over the place, but yeah, at that point, I was expecting her to be a wife, and from the outside looking in, I see how the roommate dynamic started. I see how the pulling away started. I see how I was not being the man that I was supposed to be for my family. Not just her, but for my family. I truly, I see where God has taken me. I see why the things that have happened, because that's just law. That's universal law. However those things transpired, I had to pay for that. I neglected my family. I neglected my wife. I neglected myself, first of all, because if I neglect myself, then everything falls behind it. So yeah, I absolutely neglected myself, and I have to pay for that. I feel like, there's redemption, and there's karmic debt. There is sowing and reaping seeds. There's a season for all that. And I believe that, all of that culminated to this point to where she left, and I am reaping, what I sowed. And I take full accountability for that, for sure. Absolutely. 100%. But fast forward to my breaking point, where I was no longer interested in keeping her as a friend, keeping her as a wife, keeping her, just within my realm. Of course, I wanted closure, and I will talk about closure in another podcast. But I wanted closure, but I didn't want, her. In February of 2026, I came to a realization that this isn't the person that was meant for me. Just through her actions, just through the things that she was doing, and that were actually hurting me because of an expectation that I put on her that I was holding up to myself. That's the most egregious thing that you could ever do to yourself. You holding an expectation of you to somebody else who's actively trying to leave you. I wanted to hold on to her so bad that I ignored everything that she did, everything that she said. Like words just were not going when we would have talks, and it would annoy her, it would overstimulate her, it would just, but I couldn't see past that because of what I wanted, because of the standard that I held to myself, because of the things that I wouldn't do in a marriage that she was doing. So that hurt me the most. And when I was looking at her actions, and I did everything. I would try to snoop on her phone. I would try to, it was bad. It was really, really bad. But one day I really, really thought about how everything that I was doing was affecting me. All of the, cause going through her phone did not make me feel good. Going through, just finding out her, through messages and all that kind of stuff, the things that I was reading, the things that I had discovered, it did not make me feel any better to know. It never will. Because when you go through something, when you go through somebody's phone, you're going to find exactly what you're looking for, because you're looking for it. I was not a good person throughout this whole thing. I wasn't myself. That person that was doing all that, that was not me. That was not, I never want to go back to that person who I was. But yeah, that, ugh. I'm kind of disgusted in myself to think that I could go through that and do those types of things and just be that desperate, you know? At that point, I was feeling like, hey, this isn't working for you. You're causing more damage than you're setting out to do. Knowing these things that you know, because it's not going to get any better. She's not going to be like, oh, I miss him in messages to the people that she's talking to. She's not doing that. And that's what I was looking for. And I just found quite literally the opposite. So at that point, you know, I told her everything that I was doing. I gave her the phone back. I you know, cause she ultimately was the one who had to put in her password to erase it. And I wanted to erase it. And I wanted to tell her all the things that I've done and how it was affecting me. And I mean, she didn't feel a way about it. She took her phone and that was just it. It was sad, but it was a little bit freeing. I had to, you know, I really had to move forward, and I went to therapy. I took a week off of work because at that point, that day that I had that realization, I went to talk to my mom, and, you know, we just talked everything out, and we had a heart to heart about the things that I was finding, the things that, you know, I was feeling about, I was raging about, and we prayed for almost 3 hours straight. I swear, yo, I love my mom. I love her to death. Man, that woman is such an amazing woman. I have to give all props to my mom because she sat there and she prayed with me for almost 3 hours, and we got through some stuff. I promise y'all the power of prayer is absolutely real. But yeah, that was the day I decided to just chill out. Really, really focus on myself for real. Because before then I was losing weight. Before then I was, you know, I was doing it all for the wrong reasons. I was losing weight for her. I was trying to get better for her. And I was just I wasn't genuine. That's what it all boils down to. I was not genuine. But yeah. But that day forward, I started doing things for me. I signed up for a Taekwondo class that unfortunately I was not able to afford after the first month. So because at that point she had moved out, and I really didn't I overestimated how much losing an entire income could affect me. So I had to stop doing that. And I had to really, really buckle down and try to figure out my finances. And today I'm cool, but I started to really pour into myself then. And it has been tough. It has been very, very hard. I changed around a lot in my house. If anybody knows me, I had a gaming YouTube channel. I've been all over the house with this setup, but I am now in my daughter's old room. She moved out to help her mom because she had a job, and moving out today, the mortgage is a lot lower than what renting is today. So she moved out to help her out, and just later on down the line, my other two kids, they moved out to be with their sister as well. So it's like, okay, well, that's something. And now I'm in an empty house. So that's another thing that I have to deal with. Now I have to deal with being lonely and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it sucks. Not sometimes, all the time it sucks from, going from a house full of chaos, a house full of life, to just me and God in the house, and I said that on one of my previous TikToks. But that's a part of the journey. That's a part of the season that I'm in. And I say all this to say for the past 30 minutes that it gets better. It truly does get better. You sit with yourself and you really start to learn yourself. I'm still learning who I am without being a father, without being a husband, without being a protector, a provider. Like, I really have to figure out who I am in order for me to move forward in this life. So, yeah, y'all, gentlemen, it gets better. You really just have to show up for yourself. You can't control anything anybody does. And I know it's hard to understand that in the moment of pain, fury, anger, rage, and all of that. But man, it does get better. Surround yourself with a group of men who are doing the damn thing in life. Surround yourself with a group of people that have your best interests at heart, because I know, like, for most of the 20 years that we were married, we didn't have like outside friends. We had family. We had a lot of family, you know. We stuck to our families, but we didn't have like outside friends. We didn't have our own lives. And that was a big proponent to us getting a divorce as well. We just didn't have our own lives. Our lives depended on each other. And when your life depends on another person, solely one other person, man, you're setting yourself up for failure. Knowing all that, man, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people in the comment section or just people onlookers that will be like, this is basic stuff. Like, what happened? At 20 years old, man, I thought I knew everything. I thought I had it figured out, but I didn't. So I'm surprised we lasted as long as we did. We learn and we move forward. So if you made it this far, I thank you so much for tuning in for this very first vulnerable, truthful episode. Later down the line, we'll get into some more tactics, some more specific things that I learned and I'm still learning. So if there's anything new that I learned, I'll definitely be able to post it. I'll definitely be able to, you know, tune it in and not necessarily perfect it, but share my experience with you guys. So that's what I'm doing. I hope my story can help somebody going through a divorce, going through the pain, the rage, the anger. I just really hope that it can, this video shines a light on what men go through during a season where it just seemingly feels like it's out of nowhere. Because to me it did. It felt like it was out of nowhere. But that introspection part, yeah, just look at yourself, look inward, see exactly where you may have faltered, and course correct. That's all you can do. That's all you can do, y'all. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get up on out of here. Once again, my name is Michael. I'm with Lost Royalty, and you all have a blessed day. Peace.